I am going to talk about sexual fantasies today. People are always worried that to fantasize is not normal. A healthy man will not fantasize. A mentally strong man will not fantasize. This is a wrong concept. Sexual fantasies are a normal, universal component of human psychology. Practically everybody fantasizes. When you put a child into school, what do we tell them? You should become a doctor, you should become an engineer, you should become an IT professional. Somebody wants to become a cricketer, somebody wants to be a shuttle badminton. So they start fantasizing. In fact, the more creative you are, more the fantasies you have. The movie writers, movie directors are all very creative people. All the stories stem from fantasies. Take, for example, Harry Potter, which has gained universal popularity. Now, it is not just I am telling you this, but there are scientists who very clearly told, after their extensive research, that it is quite normal. Brett Kerr, a renowned British psychologist, he says they develop from our earliest infantile fantasies. As we grow up, these infantile fantasies will turn into sexual fantasies in our life. Again, we may make a mistake that only abnormal or deviant people will fantasize. No, sir. There was a wonderful study conducted in America, USA, known as the Sex in America study, clearly found out that 54% of men and 19% of women fantasize on a daily basis. University of Vermont psychology professor Harold Leitenberg, his survey found that 85% of both men and women fantasize during sex. He concluded that people who fantasized sex during sexual activity have great levels of sexual satisfaction and fewer sexual problems. You see, this helps rather than affects us. They are normal people, they are not deviant. Again, Leitenberg found, even though both men and women fantasize, the content of the fantasies differs. Whereas women fantasize romance and persons known to them, the men fantasize genital images and sex with unknown persons like movie actresses or magazine pinups, etc. Men usually fantasize anonymous partners, whereas women fantasize known persons. Practically all the sex researchers found that people who lack sexual interest, their sexual fantasies are very minimal. People who cannot fantasize, they have a dull sex lives. That's what all the researchers have found out. Sexual fantasies can enhance both psychological and physiological aspects of the sexual response in many ways. They can counter sexual boredom. They focus thoughts on sexual feelings, thus preventing the distraction, boosting self-esteem and image, etc. That is the reason why sexologists use fantasy as a therapeutic tool. Remember, one of the sex therapeutic tools is resorting to sexual fantasies. Sexual fantasies can be a source of great turn on to solve many sexual problems. The only problem comes when we try to carry out these sexual fantasies into real life. People who do not know the difference between a real life and a real life, they get into a problem. Again, the content also matters. Having sex with somebody is different, but having sex with young children, like pedophilia, violent sex can land people into problems. These people require medical management and treatment. So this is very important to understand. Overall, in general, sexual fantasies are normal. Practically everybody fantasizes. And sexual fantasies can enhance our sex life. Only sexually disinterested people have less fantasies. Women fantasize romance. Men fantasize genital images and sexual acts. The content is one which is going to be problematic. If the content of the fantasy is the legally accepted ones, which will not harm anybody, then there is no problem. If the content is not legally permissible, is going to cause harm to somebody, then it is not good. They require help, treatment also. So what is important to understand, as long as our sexual fantasies are not criminal in nature, they are beneficial. After all, life is a colorful fantasy.